I'm here with Kaylee George. Kaylee, good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
So where did you fly in from today?
I came from Bangladesh.
It's pretty far.
I had a vacation there. There's a new circuit starting there, so we were just getting that off the ground.
Great. It sounds like it'll be a good time.
Yeah, look out for it in 2015.
So have you decided which game you're going to pick next?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Indiana Jones probably.
Very nice. Well, best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Probably he's going to pick Indiana Jones. I wonder if that means if he's definitely going to pick it. We've had some indecision from Bob, and we've had some indecision from Kaylee, but I'm guessing that he actually is going to pick Indiana Jones.
Well, I'm not completely convinced he was in Bangladesh, but or that there will be a Papa Circuit in Bangladesh next year. I think we probably.
Do you
would
think
heard
he
about
was
that.
trying to deceive us?
I don't know. Maybe he's trying to deceive his opponents who cannot hear the broadcast.
What you are what you really don't know is nobody else can hear you right now, Kaylee. Sorry.
Now, Kaylee has won the IFPA World Championship. He's been in the Papa World Championship 3 consecutive years. 2010, 2011, 2012. He was in the Final Four.
He's a exceptional control player. He has probably one of the best known live catches in pinball.
Can you describe a live catch briefly for those who haven't seen it?
Live catch is where the ball is coming down, generally at a backwards angle towards the flipper, and you raise the flipper to meet the ball, and the ball appears to magically stop. It's not magic, it's physics, but it's one of those moves that if you pull it off and somebody doesn't know what's going on, it looks like it's magic.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of the most beautiful moves a player can do in pinball.
Yeah, it's almost like, I mean, I think about it, baseball analogy there. Imagine a player swinging a baseball bat, but that there's something that prevents them from hitting the baseball bat past a certain point. They can't do a full swing. Just as soon as they get to a certain point in their swing, the bat will just stop immediately. That's the flipper. And so imagine a baseball player taking a full swing at a fastball and hitting that stop point exactly as the fastball arrives.
That sounds awfully painful for the arms.
It is. Fortunately, we've got end of stroke switches that take care of it. And you're right about Kaylee. Kaylee has chosen to lie to the entire world about Indiana Jones, and has instead picked Grand Prix and electromechanical machine.
I'm starting to believe that he was actually.
No, I think what happened there is he chose to play last, and let Bob Matthews have the control.
Well, that surprises me a lot, but hey, what do I know?
So, Bob, as having picked the machine, is player one, and Kaylee loves this game. Kaylee is an enormously good player at this game. I had to play Kaylee on this game at the IFPA semifinals 2 years ago, and he rolled it over, getting 1,000,000 points.
That's a really good game.
It seemed like he didn't really break a sweat doing it either. He crushed it.
Well, Bob just picked up almost a full bonus collect on the right side, and that's if you're going to roll the game, you have to do that a couple times.
Yeah. So there are 2 spinners. It's a very symmetric game. 2 spinners on the left and right, and each spinner also has a bonus in front of it that you collect by shooting the saucer next to the spinner. That's a solid shot, melting the spinner a bit, advancing the bonus up to 45,000. If you manage to complete the AB at the top during the ball, or the CD at the bottom, which no one really aims for, you will light double bonus as well. You can tell double bonus is on with the number 1 light. So Bob has lit the double bonus. That means that at this point, that left saucer is worth 90,000, and the right saucer is also worth now 100,000, which is the maximum. Getting into those saucers is no joke.
No, it's not. It usually just happens when you miss a shot at the spinner. But notably, he also has both spinners lit for 1,000 points.
Yeah.
Why does that happen?
Whenever you max out a bonus on either side, you'll light the spinner for, instead of 100 to spin, 1,000 to spin. And that turns out to be not as valuable as cashing in the bonus, but still very valuable. So some players, especially as Bob is getting used to where the spinner is located and hitting it well, you could just keep going on that until the point at which you miss the shot.
Okay.
And he missed the shot to the right spinner there, which put the ball out of control. Never got it back under control, but that was over 300,000.
That's a good ball.
Very strong first ball. I would expect the score to get by on this game will probably be somewhere in the 300,000 to 500,000 range. So that's strong by Bob, and we will also be seeing Andy Rosa, who just advanced on big game. Kaylee George, who's new on the machine, and Daniele Acciari, who already has $200 in his pocket.
That's got to be a good feeling. To start out the day strong. He's here he wants to be here for the long haul at least, but you never know.
Yeah.
Might as well take some cash in case you're rob the bank early, so they say.
The long haul can end pretty quick in this format, where the last place player on every game is eliminated.
Wow. Did you see that move? So the really cool thing about Grand Prix is it actually has holes at where the bottom of the rail guides would meet. And Andy saved it from the hole because it was going out there, and he nudged it up into the rail guide.
Yeah, these the in lanes are not safe. So passing it through there will drain the ball, and a bounce over may cause trouble. So you don't see as many bounce overs or alley passes as you might see on some games.
Or drop catches, for that matter.
Or drop catches, which can put the ball's momentum. There's a shot into that hole. Andy did not have the double bonus yet, so this is 50,000 counting off instead of 100,000. That ends up being a fairly substantial overtime to pick off that AB at some point during your ball, but it kind of happens pretty much by luck. But that shake on the lane on the left, that's superior game knowledge, knowing that it's a game where you need to do that and that it's valuable to do so.
And it falls back in the hole again. He gets another 30,000 points from that.
That's a very strong ball. We saw a great ball from Bob Matthews, and now Andy is chasing that down. If he can pick off the B to light the double bonus, that will be very helpful to him. But ball bouncing around up there. Now, there is opportunity to use your skills and nudge the ball.
I don't see him
the
moving
bumpers into that. And I don't see him doing that. He picks it off there, so he got it. That will count down there on the right, 100,000 points. He has now passed Bob, and we've seen two incredibly strong balls to start. And Kaylee and Daniele, you got to be wondering, like, heck.
Yeah, because Grand Prix has this tendency, after it gives off a beautiful ball like this, to give off a. Oh my God! What happened there?
Andy drained through the center there. But he also nudged our camera, which controls the scoreboard. We will get that camera fixed very, very shortly and update you on the scores. But you can see there, Andy put 400,000 on it, even better than Bob's 300,000 ball, which was a strong ball.
There's nothing to be taken away from that except that we have great players in the circuit final.
This is a scary start to this game for those two. And now we've got Daniele, and Daniele loses it through the lane on the right. Daniele knows this game. He's played it many times, but his style of wanting the drop catch there burned him. So with a drop catch, you still have the horizontal momentum of the ball. You can cancel the vertical momentum by dropping your flipper.
Actually, you can control the horizontal momentum as well with the drop catch, but it starts to get very technical to control exactly how much horizontal you take off of it.
Yeah, if you take it off the wrong way, you're going to drop catch it right down into the center.
Right, and
that's a place where I think this game is very, very technical.
Right, and there's a lot more than just basic drop catches, and we saw the wrong type from Daniele on that one.
That was a drop catch there from Kaylee where he dropped it, and he knew that it wasn't going to be strong enough to power into that lane. I call those the dumbass lanes. You lose the ball there, you just feel awful. You feel like it shouldn't have happened. And those were a common feature in mid 70s machines and earlier, and they just kind of got replaced by the solid lane guy we see now. And Kaylee loses the ball through the dumbass lane. That's really surprising.
It's one of those things that if you're a control player, sometimes the instinctive thing to do is that control move, even if you know it's wrong. And sometimes your hand goes up, and he went to a catch, and I bet you he knew it as he was doing it, that it was a bad time to be having the flipper up.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Roger Sharp some years ago about these games, these Williams games from the mid 70s. And he says in a lot of cases the geometry of the game is built so that you can play it on the fly and power the ball through shots. Like as it kicks out one of those saucers on the right, if you flip at the right timing here, you can power the ball through the left spinner. In Bob's case, he kind of flops it right into the other saucer, which collects the other bonus. So both of those are options for the player depending on when they flip and how strong they want that shot. And it can be an easier shot from a moving ball than from a trap sometimes.
Right now, looks like Bob's mastery of the spinner that he had on ball one, he seems to have lost a little of it. But Bob, instead of making a lot of drop catches, is making excellent use of the bounce pass.
Why is the bounce pass such a hard skill? I mean, what do you do?
Well, it's
there it is again.
It's the Othello skill. I mean, it takes a moment to do it, but it takes a lifetime to master. I guess once you learn to do it, it's second nature, right? I mean, it just happens. But it's the easiest skill to do in pinball. You do nothing. You let the ball bounce over.
And I've seen so many players who they know that a bounce over is the right move at a moment, and they don't do it because they don't trust their hands almost.
Right. I mean, and remember how I was saying about Kaylee's reflexive move where he probably just lifted up the flipper even if he knew it was bad. Sometimes I guess that's the same feeling with a bounce pass maybe.
Yeah, I've taken to actually moving my hand away from the machine in the moments where I know a bounce pass is coming, and just even taking my hands away, only briefly and only a little bit, but enough to just ensure to myself that I'm not going to take a flip at something when I didn't really need to. And so if you're thinking about doing bounce passes, just try it. Just try doing nothing and see what happens. You'd be surprised how often it works. And why do it? Why not just flip away? What does the bounce pass do for you?
It gives you a controlled shot. I mean, and I think for almost every player in the world, a controlled shot is more accurate than a non-controlled shot, I would think.
I definitely agree. And especially if the ball is screaming at you, the natural inclination is, oh my God, get this out of here. And then you just put yourself in even more danger.
I was talking to one of the Pittsburgh Pinball League members, and I was telling them they have this inclination. Whenever they see the ball coming down, they feel like it is a baseball, like you were talking about the analogy earlier, that they have to take a swing at it. And I was like, not every time.
And in cases here, like right there, that would have been a fine bounce over. Instead, Bob one-times it into the right saucer for 100K.
Who are we to question Bob when he can make a 100,000-point shot?
No doubt. And left drain there.
That's amazing ball.
An even stronger ball than his ball one. 380,000 on that ball for 685.
Prediction: Bob is safe.
Bob looks good here, but I refuse to predict anything when the player 3 and 4 are Daniela and Kaylee. I've Daniela and Kaylee played on Grand Prix at the IFPA final, and they both rolled it over. 1,000,000 points each. So we're going to probably see at least one player roll the machine, and maybe more than one. And Andy's like, wait a minute, I had 400,000. I was in the lead. Now I'm back behind by 300 again. He's got the AB though, so that's nice.
Little out of control.
A little kick there with the right leg, helping him with the momentum.
Hey, whatever gets it done. You'll see some players who make a lot of motions during their play. Whatever makes them comfortable and makes them feel like they're getting the right move. And sometimes I think they're actually using their physical weight to propel the machine in a direction or something. Oh, Andy.
Oh, now three three out of 4 players have fell victim to the lane.
And Andy knows it. He knew it. Actually, I think he almost did it on ball 1, too. And then he made that beautiful up nudge at the last second to prevent it. But when you do it, you feel powerless.
And you walk away going, oh. You walk away with your head between your legs, your head down.
There's nothing like a game of Grand Prix to make you feel horrible in pinball. Thank you, Grand Prix. You've now destroyed 3 players' days.
But Bob Matthews lives on.
And you probably won't see that mistake from Bob. I shouldn't say that. I wouldn't expect it.
It's way less likely, I think.
Right.
But I'm not to
jinx
disparage
Bob,
the other players here because they're all amazing and they've all played Grand Prix many times. But Bob is known as sort of more of a classics master. He's great at the new machines as well, but
classics he's just extra dangerous because he's willing to shoot more stuff on the fly, which I think on a classics game is sometimes more valuable than trying to do a control move. Sometimes.
And now we saw from chat room there was a comment about Bob's gloves. Bob wears gloves to play. What's your opinion on that?
Oh, my opinion on that is wear whatever makes your hands comfortable. And also, if you're inclined to do heavy slap saves on a machine, you can actually do some pretty nasty damage to your hands. I got a nice black and blue on my hand from this week's play.
Yeah, last Papa World Championship, I ended up with this huge welt on my right hand from a game called Algar, and I didn't really know what was happening. I looked down on my hand after the game, like, what? Whoa! You're in the moment. You're doing your moves, and the physicality of moving the machine around really does have a serious impact, especially on games of this era and the early solid state era, like Big Game that we saw before.
So Andy ended his ball with 190, and Kaylee won his ball with a pretty similar score.
Yeah,
Kaylee
behind
70.
at 110. This is a 5-ball game, an electromechanical game.
Right, that's good to point out.
And so this is not the last ball. This is ball 3. And Bob in the lead already 2/3 of the way through to rolling the machine on, and he's on ball 3. It should be a 1.5. Oh, a bit of a.
But Grand Prix said no.
Yeah. I won't say. I mean, that wasn't really a player error.
No, that was that was an unsavable ball.
Yeah.
Oh, or I could not have saved that ball.
I like to think of Grand Prix. I mean, you're playing 5, so you almost look at each ball and say, I'm not going to get 2 out of these 5 balls. I'm gonna have probably two losers no matter what I do.
The way I look at Grand Prix is just I want to make sure I don't make the mistake because the machine will take the ball away at its own given time. I just want to make sure that I don't hasten its end. And sometimes that's all you can do in a pinball match is say, I want to make sure I don't make the mistake that ends this ball, and then I'll worry about the efficiency of my play later.
Right. If the game houses you, there's very little you can do about it. That was actually an excellent start right there by Andy, because the normal move a player would make would be to lob the ball into the in lane at speed, which would have gone right down that lane. That was extremely strong play there to avoid a quick drain.
So Andy's warmed up now, and he sees $100 below the glass. I see that $100, and I feel like running away from the broadcast booth and running up there, smashing the glass and taking it from Andy. But
this playfield glass is worth more than $100, so that would be a net loss to you. So.
Oh my goodness!
Beautiful shake there. And you can see him pushing his right hand onto the sides of the game to influence that, and that was him. He did that. You don't just have your flippers.
He can be proud of that move. and he got.
And he can be proud of that ball. You know, as he walks away, he's kind of. That was a bit of a damn you Grand Prix kind of moment with the clap, but also he knows that he played a great ball.
He saved 2 balls on that, you know. So you could say the Grand Prix was trying to take it away twice before, and he prevented that from happening 2 times.
So we almost have, right now we almost have 2 games going. We got Bob versus Andy, players 1 and 2, playing for the $100, and we've got Daniele versus Kaylee.
Playing for survival. Right. I mean,
at any moment, one of them could just turn up the juice.
oh my goodness. And there was nothing Daniele could do. I was actually impressed with the first in lane he took. He didn't nudge. He said
he could have nudged there and caused a drain. Instead, played patient, saw it. He missed a shot to the right spinner. And once you're out of control on Grand Prix,
you never know.
You're at the whim of the game, and
Right.
you did not survive that miss.
So Daniele's going to come into ball 4, I believe, with a sizable disadvantage.
Well, we've got Kaylee here, and Kaylee only has 110, so it could be Kaylee at the disadvantage here. I'm pretty surprised that neither of them has put up a big ball yet, because they're both so good at this game, and I've seen each of them put up 600,000 on a single ball. But literally watching it up close as they do it to me, and kick my ass. But
so Kaylee has called over tournament director Kevin Martin.
You may be asking about the way that bonus is awarded on the game. When you shoot through the spinner, it will advance the bonus at certain levels. And some different Grand Prix settings, you can physically set the machine to decide which of those lights, as you go through the spinner, you see a series of 10 lights go on. Some of those lights advance the bonus, and most don't. But you can physically go into the machine and decide which ones advance the bonus and which ones don't. Almost like a difficulty setting.
But I don't think you'd be asking Kevin that, because I don't think Kevin would be able to give him that information. Or should I say, as a tournament director, allowed to give him that information.
Right. But he figured it out probably. I'm not sure what it may have been, something else altogether.
I would assume it would be, because wow, that was close. But I mean, you're going to shoot the spinner anyways, right?
Yes, you're probably going to shoot the spinner no matter what. So may as well shoot the spinner. And here comes a 50,000 countdown from the right spinner. Collect. He still has he has neither of the AB. So double bonus. It's funny, like sometimes the double bonus you get it before you even start the ball, because it's just bounced around in there. Pick off your A.
And sometimes it never comes.
Playing against Kaylee on this game, I hear him shout it, like mumbling the letter that he wants. So he's playing Grand Prix right now, and I'm next to him. He's saying B, B, B.
I have a tendency to try to talk that out using the 8-ball deluxe voice. The shoot for B.
Nice shot. You can't spell deluxe on this game, unfortunately.
Wow.
You can spell some of the letters. You can spell D. Then you try to get the rest of the letters in deluxe, you're going to have trouble. Still unable to get that B for the double bonus. You can also double the bonus by hitting the C and D targets that are in the middle, but that would be suicide.
Do you think there's ever a point? Well, he's lit for 50. That would be a 50,000 point shot if he could hit, both those targets.
That's right. But going through the spinner and picking off the B would be a little cleaner if he can get good luck out of the bumpers.
Yeah, it hasn't happened so far. It seems like it's tending to go the other way.
There it is.
Never mind. Well, I guess it's still tending that way. Just
yeah, the geometry's a little crazy up there. It's kind of got this horseshoe effect where it can send the ball screaming back down at you, or it can just be bouncing around up to the top again, and it's really I love the design up there.
Oh, the design's wonderful. It seems though that the kick out today is putting it off of the upper right pop bumper, and that's sending it towards the direction of the A because of the angled trajectory.
Yeah,
so
you're way more likely to pick off an A. I feel.
Right. The initial shot's that way, but so
that was a great ball by Kaylee. The best ball we've seen actually from any player in the game so far, over 400,000. and he's worked his way right back into it. And this is trouble for Daniele Acciari.
And Bob Matthews takes a pretty tough drain there, but he's still, I'd say he's in really solid position at this point. He's has one more ball to play. He has 762,000 points.
I would be very surprised if Bob was eliminated in this game, because it would take Daniele to chase down over 500,000, and Andy and Kaylee would also have to produce enough to get there.
I think both Andy and Kaylee have an expected value of over the 200,000 points. That's difference right now, but Bob still has another ball to go. So
yes. It'd be great, like see everybody roll it, all 4 players roll it over instead, and somebody.
And then you could, then somebody would have a story to tell. I rolled Grand Prix and lost.
On camera.
Oh, yeah.
Nice bounce over there. And I'm reluctant to take a bounce over on Grand Prix simply because of that lane. That the ball is moving very quickly and you try to bounce over. You lose.
Right.
It bounces
if it's
over
quick,
too far.
If it's moving too quick, sometimes that's what I was talking about earlier. Sometimes the control move might be the mistake. So just shoot it away.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody really mastering the kick out of that saucer to one time through spinner, which is beautiful. But what Andy did there is just as good. Do a bit of a drop catch to push the ball over to the other side, and then nail the spinner. And
so
nothing he could have done there.
No, but now we have an interesting situation where Andy and Bob are both in the mid 700s, and if Kaylee gets close, well. First, this is Daniele's tournament life.
I think Daniele will win this game. Outright. First place.
Okay.
No, I have no idea, actually. And I just know that the way Daniele plays is fearless. He's not looking at this thinking he's way behind. He's looking at this thing and I'm playing a ball at Grand Prix.
Yeah. And I don't see any nerves from him. I didn't see him last year. I don't see him this year. He just goes up and performs. And now, one ball remaining.
Daniele was recently on Italy's Got Talent, or Italia's Got Talent, or whatever they call it, the Italian version.
Really? For pinball?
For pinball.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's not surprising. I mean, he
got up there. He said, "I'm gonna start with a fresh game of Spider-Man, and I'm gonna get to 4-ball multi-ball within 45 seconds or something ridiculous like that." And he did it. He did it. He kept all 4 balls in play. He was making shots all over the place. It was absolutely right on.
I would be,
and they advanced it. So
I'd be excited to see that.
He continued to move on. So it's out there on video. Daniele Acciari on the Italian version of the Got Talent shows that are popular in U.S., U.K.
And we rejoin Kaylee.
He definitely does have a talent.
Oh, that was a beautiful bounce pass. Kaylee, I think Kaylee smells $100.
He's still in 3rd place right now, but he's got more turns to play than any of the rest. Everybody else has 1 ball left,
and he's got 50,000 in the bank right now.
So how do you know it's 50? How can you tell what the bonus collect?
Yeah, I guess we should explain that a second. So there's 2 bonuses, as we explained earlier, and there's always a big red arrow down near the bottom of the playfield that's lit. That is the bonus you will collect if you drain your ball. And the other bonus is only collected if you fall into the hole. Now, you can actually change which... the
bonus changes each ball. So ball 5 now, the left bonus will be active for all players. But that means if in some ways the left spinner is worth more than the right spinner right now.
At least initially,
the right spinner, you're going to get potential points, but that 15 is not free. You have to actually shoot it in the saucer to get the 25, 30... That's there. Meanwhile, he would only get the points on the left if he drains without collecting either of the saucers. On
the fly, there was a big shot. I mean,
Good spinner.
I would have probably tried to bounce past that myself, but I don't know.
He's got 100,000 ready to go on that right saucer. Left is up to 50, the double bonus, and that was a little bit of bad luck there. Rimmed out of the saucer. Bob at 800,000.
Nice little tip over, and then another shot to the spinner. And what, 80,000 points in the bank. And there it is. He breaks the bank, and now he can build it back up again.
Rebank. Yeah, this style of game was pretty popular in the mid-'70s with the bonus collect, because just the concept of adding a bonus was interesting at the time, and then finally you get your bonus high enough. Oh, and a near rollover. 987 for Bob Matthews as player one.
That's a good game. Very, very good game. I mean, not the rollover you were talking about, but I'd say it's close enough that I could safely say not all the players are going to catch him.
I'm scared. I'm scared of Acciari's ball 5 here. I mean, the game is going to be the decider in the end, too. The Grand Prix could just house ball him like he did, like Andy got right there.
Andy just got house balled there, and
Daniele is up. He needs at least 330,000. He needs to double his score or better on this ball to survive.
And that was a big player error. And Daniele, he's been the dream of the circuit event. I mean, so far. I mean, and it's over.
That was the first time we've ever seen Daniele finish last place on the game in the circuit final.
I mean, is it safe to say that was due to happen?
23 games in the last circuit final without ever once finishing last.
23 games.
And here he makes it to game 3. He crushed the first 2 games and won $200. He'll take home another $100 for his final position in the circuit final here. But that will be all. Daniele will be 18th place in this year's circuit.
Well, he came out and got some money early, and then maybe he decided he wanted to enjoy the rest of the day as opposed to playing for 20 hours.
Or get some more sleep. My goodness.
I can understand how that feels.
Now, last year, Daniele, after performing so well in circuit final, he kind of ran out of gas in Pinburg itself because he was just so tired from playing. Still played well, but by the second day of Pinburg, you could tell he was running low.
Yeah.
And the winner's Bob will go to Anastasia with Jason Werdrick.
I'm here with Jason Werdrick, who's about to enter the next round of the circuit finals. Jason, where are you coming from today?
I'm coming from Park Ridge, Illinois.
Great. Do you have any idea which game you're going to select next?
I believe I'm going to choose Metallica.
Very nice. Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
So Metallica will be chosen again. I'm not too surprised that we're going to see another game of Metallica at this point. I expected to see it fairly often. But I was hoping to see an early game of Mousing Around. I thought that would be pretty exciting to see. Because how many times do you get to see Mousing Around in a tournament?
Yeah, honestly, I was expecting Kaylee to pick Mousing Around. Instead, it looked like Kaylee either picked Grand Prix or allowed Bob to pick Grand Prix. As we move back over to Metallica, it will be Jason Werdrick, Bob Matthews, Andy Rosa, and Kaylee George, who have advanced beyond the first 3 rounds at the Papa Circuit Final, just outside Pittsburgh. The facility is also open all day today for casual play. You'll see people streaming in and out as they play the over 400 pinball machines that are here at Papa World headquarters. Beginning tomorrow, all day Friday, all day Saturday, and then Sunday will be the Pinburg tournament with 400 players, the largest pinball tournament ever held. We're very excited for that, and we'll be broadcasting the finals live on Sunday, along with potential bonus coverage. In the meantime, we've got the circuit final today. Players have earned their way into the circuit final by playing monthly tournaments around the calendar. If you're interested, you can go to papa.org to see the upcoming schedule of circuit events. Next circuit event will be next weekend at the Michigan Pinball Expo. And other events will be around the calendar. In June, we have 2 events, one in just outside Seattle, the Northwest Pinball Championships, and one in Atlanta, Georgia, at the new Southern Fried Gaming Expo. And I'm joined here by last year's number 1 seed and this year's number 2 seed, Zach Sharp.
Hi. I hope that's not a trend. I hope not, next year I'm not 3rd seed, but...
Well, it'll give you at least 19 more years of qualifying.
All right, then I like that.
Now
Did Jason pick Metallica?
Yes, we talked to Jason before, and he said he was likely to pick Metallica, which is
Wow.
interesting because I think that I can't see any of the players doing particularly poorly on this. Bob is more of a classics master. I was almost expecting Jason to pick Indiana Jones.
I was just about to guess.
And
Indy
he
or
warmed
Creature?
up a lot of the time on Indy, and he definitely enjoys that game quite a bit.
But he also owns one, so maybe he didn't like the way that particular one played. Maybe that's why he was practicing on it so much, just to see the feeds. And
So why wouldn't you want to play a game that you own? It seems like you'd want to play that nonstop.
sometimes that's a jinx. The feeds are a little different. The shots are just a hair off, and a super jackpot shot on yours is a hair earlier, and then you play a cold one and you're out of the circuit.
Yeah, this is a very big difference between pinball and video games or console. Is that you go to play a different Metallica, and it's literally not the same machine because it's a physical machine.
Yep. Or, you look at Big Game. That was the one that was at, I think, the Louisville Arcade Expo. Even the same machine that you move to a different location and, re-level, and there's just gremlins in there. It's a little different.
And just like a 0.1 degree difference in the pitch, vertically or horizontally, has a
and Kaylee and
significant
Yorian
effect
will tell
on
you exactly.
they don't know this machine is leaning left. Really? Oh, well, I guess you're right.
Ride the Lightning. That was one of the new songs, right? Isn't there 2 new songs?
There are 2 new songs added to the game. This is Metallica 1.51. Lyman Sheet's been working his butt off to make Metallica an incredible game, and there were some major changes to 1.5 that added awesome features to it.
Oh,
you played some of the new code?
A little bit. The first time I really got to play it was at the Louisville show, and the crank it up modes are fun. I want to play more just to know what to do in it, but.
Yeah, to get crank it up, you need to hit 15 of each of the major type of shots. The gray markers, those drop targets, the sparky, the coffin captive ball, and the snake hole. You can also, by shooting those, you will light other versions of them around the playfield that also count towards the 15. So it's not as bad as it sounds. When you get 15 of each, a big blue light will light up on the right side for what amounts to a wizard mode almost as far as the scoring. But it's also so dangerous because it's just one ball. Like a lot of wizard modes in Pin are 4 balls, do as much as you can in 90 seconds, and there's no risk. Here it's all risk.
And you can answer this question hopefully very soon before John gets back on the mic. How do you start 2x scoring? I know it's the end of line shot. What's the indicator of when you have playfield multiplier going?
So there are 2 different ways to get double scoring on the game. One way is to complete the letters in fuel, F-U-E-L, on the left side, which will light the shot to the left of fuel in red. When that is lit up in red, double playfield scoring is available. Shooting behind that target will start double playfield for 20 seconds. The other way to get double playfield is to shoot the snake during multi-ball after completing the 4 white pick targets. And those are both available as well. So it is possible to get 4x. And if you get 4x, you get like special, that's just a lot, 4x anything is very nice. And the game even has special call-outs that it will only give you when you're at 4x. And here's Andy. Andy again. He played Metallica earlier, and took a danger right off the bat. And his tendency is once he takes a warning to just sit for a while. Last time we saw him send a text message while waiting for the tilt bob to settle. And he's just trying to set it up so that if he needs to nudge the machine again or shove, he can get away with a wider move than he would otherwise. What do you think of this? Do you do this?
I do. If I'm waiting to play, I will pull out my phone and I'll wait a minute on the. I know some people do the timer. I actually do the minute hand, and if it's an aggressive tilt, I'll wait for the minute hand to change +1.
Uh-huh.
And if it's not aggressive, then I'll wait for the minute hand to change, and then maybe count to like 20 seconds in my head. If I'm playing and I do an aggressive save and I get it under control, I'll let it sit, but I don't send texts, I don't drink water like my brother. I just I wait it out, I yell at myself in my head, I'll probably laugh and smile, and then get back to business.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the way you handle that. You seem to be a lot faster about recovery. Is it just a headspace difference?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. Just when you're not having fun out there, it just makes it more, I don't want to say intense, but just not fun. And if you're having fun, then you're 1% more loose. You don't put extra pressure on yourself. And I mean, you're just playing pinball. I mean, maybe it's helped that Josh and I have played each other, growing up and, against our father, that, we're used to heckling each other and, having pressure-packed balls against each other, that, when we go out here for, when I have to play my one game to advance to the circuit finals, that, win or go home, I'm going to have fun, and I hope I don't go home.
Yeah, it's really important to be in that space, and I've seen Josh so successful at pausing, taking some water breaks. I've tried that a couple times where I'm like, all right, let's pause for 20 seconds and try to regain my head, and I find it just completely backfires for me. I do worse. And we've got Kaylee up. We've had a couple of busted balls here from.
I miss what song they chose.
Jason and from Andy. Now the song choice concept seemed like it was in AC/DC first. Or actually, no, it's been way before that. It's there've been other games way before AC/DC, like even Checkpoint. So this is Kaylee George playing on Metallica. We're at the Papa Circuit Final. I'm Bowen Cairns with Zach Sharp.
Hello. I'm taking over for John Raplogo, who will be back shortly.
Now, what's up with that? We got that $100 bill there on the Metallica, and that's going to go to the winner of the game here. And the last place finisher in the game will be eliminated. So that is the format all day. Now, you were talking about your one game.
Yes.
So your number 2 seed, what does that mean for you?
That means I could either choose a game or order, and I have to not take last place, and then I'll be able to join Keith Elwin and 2 other players in the marathon? This is the endurance, and then the marathon. This is the
endurance. You've got to survive.
I feel like they're both marathons.
They're both marathon. I don't know why what the marathon really means there.
How about marathon and then Ironman?
Marathon 1, Marathon 2.
But I think Daniele's got Ironman trademark, so maybe we can't use that. All right, well, Kaylee's on a couple dangers, so he can't get too aggressive in this multi-ball.
But he can take off his jackets, revealing that he
Steve-O.
is Steve-O. Now, was that a planned move? Was that because of just how long that animation takes that he had this set up where he's going to do that, or did he just warm?
If that was a Game Room Champ shirt, then I would say he got paid to take off that jacket. But
hey, product placement, sir. Wow, they're not paying you to say it. Oh wait.
All right, so he needs to get those 2 right picks by the right ramp. Let's see if he does the backhand. No, going for fuel. All right.
So working in fuel here would be, as we just talked about earlier,
I would go
an
for
opportunity to get double playfield, so that when he gets a super jackpot, which is close, he can get a double super instead of just a single super.
I am not agreeing with his decision making right now, because he has not gotten his snake at a ball, and when he had 2 on the left and 1 on the right, he can take backhand pot shots to light his snake.
Yeah, I like the pot shot, the backhand pot shot to the right side, especially. And there, it's hard to tell whether he was aiming for the jackpot or aiming for the the target, but it worked out either way. He gets his first super for 1x, 1.5 million roughly.
Unless he's, I mean, I feel like Kaylee's really good at the rules. I feel like he should know this.
Yeah, I'm almost certain he knows it.
But the one dangerous thing, and it's really frustrating with Metallica, is the snake rejects. So even if you have it lit, you can waste a multi-ball trying to add a ball, and then all of a sudden you're out of multi-ball. So.
And there it is. So we'll see what he does from here. We're also joined by world champion Jorgen Engelbrechtsen.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. And you? How are you doing here?
That's great. Got good pinball competition. It's still a little early in the morning yet, but there's a lot to play for.
True.
Yeah, get some pin golf action coming up soon.
Yeah, and additionally, players are now practicing on the game banks for Pinburg, which will be tomorrow for 3 days.
So right now, Kaylee has 2x scoring if he shot the fuel into line.
Right. Under the fuel would give given him double play fuel for 20 seconds.
So what do the 3 dots signify?
I'm not supposed to be telling you this, sir.
What do the red devil horns do in AC/DC?
They do nothing. There are a lot of little obscure rules in alignment games at times that are interesting and they're clever. But you can still score very well without knowing any of them. In this case, just a core strategy of go for Sparky is nice. And I think that's great for brand new players also. So we got a couple shots at Sparky already by Bob. You look at that big thing up the middle and go, hey, it'd be cool to hit that. And it's rewarding you for it.
Quick ball there.
So, Jorgen, where are you from? And tell us a little about yourself.
I'm from Stockholm, Sweden, and I played pinball for 20 years of my life, something like that. And first time I came out here to Pittsburgh to play in a tournament was 11 years ago. It was 2003. And it was also named Pinburg back then. And I had a great time. I remember, I think you won, Bowen.
Still have the cup. It's smaller than the new cup, but that was a fun event, and those events evolved into the ones you see today. What are your opinions on Metallica circuit?
Well, on Metallica I haven't played it that much, and I'm certainly not acquainted with the new versions of the software. So
good to know.
If you had a game choice here, what might you pick?
On this lineup, I don't know, mousing around maybe. I like Grand Prix too. Indiana Jones. That would be my best game, I guess.
I would have trouble. I might lean on Indiana Jones. I used to play a ton of that when it came out. It's, like you're saying, if you've been playing competitions for about 20 years, that would have started right around the time that Indiana Jones was first popular.
Yeah, that's when I started playing. I haven't played tournaments. I started around 2002, I think, playing tournaments. But I played a lot in the 90s, after school every day. So I certainly played a lot of Indiana Jones.
How is pinball in Sweden? Is there a lot of games on location?
Not anymore. It used to be very good. Actually, I'm from a smaller city. It's called Falun, that has around 50,000 inhabitants, and there were lots of games there in the 90s. But Stockholm right now it's good. Not so many games on location, but we have our little community, stockholmpinball.com. We have play competitions at...
For no prize money, correct?
That's correct.
Did you travel here with anyone else? Is Jorgen here?
Jorgen didn't come this time, but we're 8 guys from Sweden, I think, 9. So lots of Swedes here, and I think the other guys went to the European Championships last weekend, so...
Oh yeah, that was in Italy this year, right?
In Italy, yes. And I didn't. I went here instead, so I really enjoyed this.
It is amazing to me the difference in the quantity and quality of events now than 10 or especially 20 years ago. It's like there's something every weekend at this point somewhere.
Yeah, that's great.
Really amazing. And circuit events are once a month around North America for now.
Is there any favorite European events? What are your favorite events to play at?
I would say Dutch Pinball Masters would be my favorite European event. I also went to the Danish Pinball Open, which Zach also did this year or last October or something, and that was a great
Probably
event
the last
too.
time, but it was fun while I was out there.
And we have some events in Sweden too, Stockholm Open, and yeah, EPC, but I haven't been to that one every time, but it's usually a good tournament as well.
Yeah, the European Pinball Championship moves around every year, right?
Yes, it does. And so different dates, different country, so it sort of depends on where it is, if I go or not. Depends on the date as well, of course.
So we have an interesting question for you. Would you mind commenting on Jason's ball right now, but in Swedish?
Do you think we have any Swedish viewers?
We
I wanna hear
do
Swedish.
actually have several Swedish viewers on the
I see a lot
on
of
the
talks.
feed right now.
Okay, I haven't been actually looking so much as to what it's doing, so it's kind of hard for me to tell right now what it's after. No, I'll stick to the English.
All right, we'll ask you later on Indiana Jones maybe.
Yeah.
So Jason has played through a Sparky, I believe, at this point. He has enough electric chairs towards the crank it up. You can get all four of those big lights in the middle lit for making enough graves, enough electric chairs, enough coffins, and enough snakes. You will
The
like
dreaded snake.
Yeah, the dreaded snake. And I think that snake is probably the one that gets ignored. Coffin you can kind of pick up whenever you want to because it includes hits during multi-ball. All of them actually include hits during multi-ball. But to get snakes, you have to put it in that saucer. And like you're saying,
It needs to stay in the saucer.
it needs to stay in. But Jason Werdrick from just outside Chicago, we call Joshua Henderson the Kid. We'll see him later, but Jason likes to call himself the original Kid because he was playing at a top level in his early teens and into his 20s. And he's been on the tournament circuit as long as I can remember.
I play against him every month in our Chicago Pinball League.
He is a top competitor. He knows strategy almost better than anyone I've ever seen, and he knows the ins and outs of games very well, very well. For example, I remember seeing him play Tales from the Crypt when it was popular, and just mastering a phase of the game that was very difficult.
Wow, pilot error there.
So what happened there, and why does that happen?
I don't know if I can explain the physics well, but you're trying to drop catch it, and your timing is just a millisecond off, and all of a sudden the ball just screams right down. It looked like the ball was like at the base of the flipper, and he just mistimed the catch, and it just rocketed down.
And with a drop cat, go ahead.
I think it went into the slingshot, the bottom of the slingshot, and then straight down the middle.
And some players, like for me, I like to protect against the slingshots. Like when a ball is hitting the slingshot, I try to hold up the flipper on that side
Just in
until
case.
I'm really confident of how the slingshot is behaving. Because if it doesn't fire for some reason, or it fires in a weird direction, you have an out. It's not gonna drain off of them.
Yeah. I actually hate the slingshots that don't fire because you're so used to them firing that it throws you off when the ball just kind of falls right down when you anticipate it, reacting a different way. Well, Kaylee must be feeling, pretty good. I mean, granted, 12 million on Metallica isn't the biggest score, but compared to how everyone else is playing so far.
Yeah, and usually we saw Metallica earlier. Usually, there's at least one player who just ends up getting owned by the machine a little bit. Bad break there. That was potentially savable.
Yeah, he had no dangers. It wasn't like his bonus was anything big. I would have taken the tilt risk.
And it also happened pretty fast, like coming off that captive ball right down. Kaylee, I've heard on the commentary a few times talking about how how to take those risks and how it's almost always worth it, because the only currency you cannot improve is balls. You can add score, you can add ramps, you can do all sorts of stuff, but you still only get three balls. And oof. Out of the outlane there for Bob. Oof.
It's third time the charm. So why is the right orbit? Why is that red flashing?
So there are several shots around the game, the 5 main shots, which are the loops, the ramps, and the grave marker. One of those shots is always flashing. As you see, the left ramp is flashing right now. Anytime you make one of the 3 things that are underneath that flashing light, you will light it up. So if he hits Sparky right now, he'll light the Sparky underneath that left ramp. If he hits the snake, it'll light up the snake under that left ramp. Lighting all 3 finishes that shot and sets you up to make a hurry up, and then you'll see it sort of pulsing and flashing all 3 to tell you you've got all 3 now. It's a rule that I don't think that everyone has a complete grasp on yet, but it's definitely something that I haven't seen on any other pinball machines, where you're sort of setting yourself up to add value to a shot, and you can choose which shot to add value. Ideally, you want to add value to all of them. If you can paint the whole playfield that way, you get a special bonus round called Seek and Destroy. And Seek and Destroy can be worth a lot, but it's very hard to get to it. It's far, far away.
But you can work on it during multi-ball.
You can work on it during multi-ball, and so some players, when they're playing a multi-ball, will abandon the goal that the multi-ball is telling them to do. Like, shoot Sparky, shoot Sparky, shoot Sparky. You shoot Sparky, it says, you just earned 250,000 points. And you're like, that sucks. That's not a lot of points. I would rather do something else and advance towards Seek and Destroy, or advance towards Fuel, or advance towards Snake Doubler. This is definitely a game that rewards you for playing smart, or playing towards goals. And I love it for that reason, but it can also be very difficult for someone walking up to it to understand fully what is available to them. And so at the base, I like to just say, make those three sets of shots: the grave markers, the Sparky, or the snake, to advance towards multi-ball. Then there's a second layer, and there's a third layer, and there's a fourth layer, and this is what happens when you put a 3-time world champion in charge of your code. You get great code, and you get deep code, and you get code that will keep someone wanting to play this game for years.
Well, I'd hope so. He's got one in his basement. I wouldn't want something in my basement that wasn't fun. Oh no!
Oh my goodness!
He saw that, but
that was
a good attempt.
He was one shot away from the Sparky multi-ball there. Yeah. So those 3 shots that I mentioned towards multi-ball, they're all very dangerous.
Is this the first repeated game?
This is the first repeated game so far. So, Urian, if it's coming flying back at you, do you just have to go for that, or what can you do on a game like this? You're kind of stuck.
Come again?
So if you're the game is telling you you're going to get rewarded for shooting this dangerous shot.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can do about it, or are you stuck just playing and praying? Like if you're just hitting that shot, are you at the mercy of the machine when it comes back at you like that? Or
yeah, pretty much.
It's a tough situation to be in, because you need to make that shot 3 times or 5 times or 7 times, whatever it is. And some games offer a safe way through. This one definitely does not.
That's true. That's true. All the shots that count in this game are dangerous shots. It's the center shot, the captive ball, and the snake, and they're all dangerous shots.
At least
and the graveyard shot as well. So
if I had to pick one, I'd pick that center shot, just simply because it's further away.
Yeah, that's true.
And you get a little bit more time, not much, but you get a little more time to react.
Yeah, that's true. And also, I don't find it very dangerous, that shot, actually, but if you know how to handle it.
Jason will argue with you a little bit.
I bet he will. But
I think that shot's a little more difficult than it used to be because the magnet now pulses whenever you hit it.
Yeah, so now there's a little bit of extra work that is influenced on that ball, and sometimes it screams down at you, sometimes it goes sideways, sometimes it like there.
okay, I see
Just
now.
flies sideways.
Was that implemented recently?
Yes, that's part of the new 1.5
Okay.
code. One more shot, that's a big
So-
shot, Andy, and Andy is celebrating a little bit by walking over to another game and
Giving it a shake.
giving it a little bit of a shake.
So Zach
Getting
had
out a
to-
little aggression there. A couple jumping jacks. And
So Jason is in very bad shape now.
do you do any of this stuff? Do you do any of those kind of jumping jacks? Or
What
do you
no,
do?
I'm
I
not
know-
much of a jumper.
I see you wear headphones. Are you still doing that? What do you like to listen to when you're playing?
Well, actually, the headphones I had, they were only like noise-canceling headphones, so I could focus better. But I don't use them often anymore. But especially when you're here and it's so noisy for 3 days straight, it's just
So
Wears on
noise
you.
canceling headphones are ineffective as there's just too much noise. Now, I know you've played some professional poker. Are there any kind of comparisons or skills you feel like you can bring over to pinball? Anything that translates in the ways that you're thinking about the game?
yeah, that would be like how to think about risks and opportunities and some mathematics, like strategy-wise.
What do you mean? What kind of math might you bring to bear on a pinball machine? I mean, there's score, but like, what do you have in mind?
It's hard to be more specific, right?
Not
more
in-
like
not in this
strategy,
game, but
not
just,
math. More like strategy, I
Alright.
guess. But as you figure out what scores and what doesn't, and you can do better choices.
And with that, also the just the relative risk of one shot versus another. For example, Andy here, he knows he's chasing a very specific score from Jason. And
He's
got a
counting in
million,
his
he's
head
got
right
a million
now.
in the bank from bonus. He's actually looking through here to try and see if he can see Andy's final score on the status report, but it's not listed. I think Jason ended up 11 million.
Something right around there. Add a ball or not even bother.
The Atta-ball is ready, but he also has all these hurry-ups available, which are big points. So right now the coffin is worth $1 million.
Oh, it should be good.
Got to make this. There's a warning. There's
Double
two
dangerous.
warnings.
He's got to be
And
good.
He's got 11.6 million, so he is over the top of Jason Werdrick. Andy Rosa will be moving on to the next round, and now it's a question of whether he can put up a big score here and maybe win that 100.
Wow, that was some big drama right there. I can't believe.
That was tight.
I don't think I would have touched the machine at all in that position, but
And he definitely does, let that go down the middle at the end.
Oh,
Walks away triumphant. Well, as triumphant as you can be, I suppose, after a dramatic center drain. But temporarily in first place.
Zach said he wanted to get ready to go play his matches. He wanted to mentally prepare, so he stepped away for a little bit. Jorian, you won last night. I don't know if you guys talked about that.
slightly, but
Oh,
not
okay.
in detail. But
Well, congratulations. That was a big win last night over Daniele.
yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, that was great. I had to beat him twice, so
Yeah, he was really on fire last night, and watching him play last night, I was thinking he might roll right through the circuit finals again and just dominate.
So what was the event last night? What was it? Where was it?
the double wide grill. That was also last year at the Wednesday night, but last year I came on Wednesday night, so I was quite tired at the time of the final. That John, no, did you win it? No, you were second.
I was second last
Yeah,
year.
you were second, and Daniele won last year. Yeah.
There's Daniele is pretty darn consistent. First at that last year, second, he's always right near the top, it seems. It's a little scary.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see him go out so early, but that happens from time to time to everybody. Doesn't matter how good you are. Sometimes you just don't get it together.
Right.
And then you lose out like that, and you wonder, well, what could I have done differently? Sometimes the correct answer is nothing, but the game has some control over that. Kaylee is chasing down Andy Rosa here. Bowen Cairns with John Raplogel and Jorian Engelbrectsen, and we're here at the Papa Circuit Final just outside Pittsburgh. The winner of this game will take home $100 and will advance to the next round. Jason Werdrick as player 1 is worried at 10 million. At player 4, Bob Matthews will chase him down and eliminate him. But Kaylee, who's playing now, Kaylee George from the Seattle area, he has definitely advanced and is trying to win the $100.
And it's amazing how much better you might see a player play when they know they're safe. And the pressure's off. Now it's time to show off. Now it's time to go make some money. And I think you'll probably notice that a lot if you follow the matches today. That the gameplay will change when you're safe.
And you also have target scores in mind because you can see where the other players are. You might play, say you've got 4 million, someone's got 6 million, then somebody else has 60 million.
Right. And I guess I guess that changes what I think. Jorian, you find that your gameplay changes a whole lot when you're in situational play like that?
Yes, of course. I mean, if, for example, Kaylee was chasing 60 million now, I think he would be quite relaxed and trying to figure out a good way to get a good score. Whereas if you just need 30. Like a couple of million, you would do something completely different.
Okay.
Of course, that's true.
He is blowing the doors off. It just went from like 36 to 43 in a heartbeat. Still double playfield. And he's reactivated the double playfield for another 20 seconds with a super jackpot. Woof!
Yeah, he has his foot on the gas pedal, and he's not going to leave up now. Reactivated another 20 seconds.
He said he was chasing 60 million. He's almost there.
Yeah, I was just saying if he was. I guess he is.
This is the best ball we've seen anyone play on Metallica so far at this point. Well, Daniele had that very strong ball 1, but this is even better. 3 supers there.
Yeah, and it's sort of amazing to see how fast the score can increase when players actually start to get their combos that they've set up together. Get those multipliers, get the super jackpots lit, and suddenly 5 times the score it was earlier.
And Kaylee backhanding to try and start the grave marker multi-ball so he can continue the madness. I have Bob Matthews as player 4 here. I see it very unlikely that Bob would catch the score from Kaylee. So Kaylee is also, at this point, practicing. He's getting more time on machines, more games in. He's got the multi-ball there, and that was a great center shake.
Yeah, Bob will be in low gear until he gets to that survival score.
He's got his multi-ball lit, so could get him there fast.
So, Gary, do you take any specific approaches towards nudging on machines, or do you have a type of nudge you prefer over others?
No, not really. It's hard to. I find it hard to speak about that.
Okay. It's also pretty machine dependent. I think like sometimes.
There's more than one type of nudge, Bowen? I mean, no, I mean, I'm not meaning that as a flippant question. It's, like most players just shove the machine forward, I think.
Yeah, and then you see some people. I was mainly thinking about the types of things you see from certain players, like Josh Sharp smacking the side of the machine frequently.
Yeah, I've seen that. I'm not into that, but I do some side shakes in the outlane area sometimes. And sometimes it's just a forward shake. Depends on the situation.
What do you gain from a forward shake overall? Like, what are you trying to do by pushing the machine like that?
Let's say, for example, the ball is going to hit the top of the slingshot and you think there might be a risk that it's going to go straight down the center, if you just nudge it forward a little bit, it's going to go further to the side and hit the flipper, for example. That could be one example.
And it can be very subtle at times too, where if you give it that kind of forward shake, you can give good momentum with a certain amount of forward shake and push it too far and have it go into a different type of danger instead.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely true.
And that's where game knowledge matters so much, both the overall geometry of the machine you're playing and even the specific one you're playing at that moment.
One thing I've noticed Mark Steinman do is he actually will pull the game towards him when he plays. Like he will do, if he's doing a bounce pass or something, he will actually pull the game towards him to reduce the power of that bounce pass.
Wow.
And Mark Steinman is our producer and director here at Papa, but it's a pretty unique skill.
Yeah, Mark is a very strong player, and very few players, if any, do I ever see do that, and even fewer to do it correctly and smartly. I can't do that. I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm not going to say he does it correctly, but he definitely does it.
That is true.
Hence the reason Mark's here in the booth.
All right, so Bob's got 6.2 million. He's chasing 10.5. Boy, that was a death in lane right there. Power in lane.
So, Bowen, what should he go for now to get 10.5 million?
This is a very difficult point because you're kind of in jail when you don't have any multi-balls active. I would say that Bob should go for the grave markers. But they're dangerous as all get up, but it's the closest multi-ball. You have fewer shots there than you do. I will say I've done something else on this game when I've been down a few million, which is to shoot the left loop. The left loop doesn't give you very many points, but it's generally safe. You're not going to die from it. You're going to get like 200,000, and then you get the ball back.
That's it.
And that's it for Bob. But if you do that enough times and you're safe, you're going to survive. And that's where you're talking about risk-reward and sort of mathematical analysis of a game. That's the kind of thing we're thinking about. And Bob Matthews is eliminated in 17th place. And we go now to Anastasia with Dave Stewart.